TikTok is back and it hasn't even been gone for 24 hours. What was it like? Was it 12 hours? 15? I don't know how many hours, but it wasn't a full day. And people are thinking that it's kind of suspicious the way that it came back, the circumstances in how it came back, because Facebook seems like it might be a part of it. Obviously, TikTok made a statement about, Trump being a part of the responsibility as to why it's back and all of that. And so I'm gonna kind of go over, I guess the facts here, and then I'm also gonna go into a little bit of my opinion on what I think it means for TikTok coming back and what I'm worried about. So first and foremost, like TikTok did go dark yesterday for me. We're on the Pacific Coast time. It went dark probably around like 7 p.m., maybe 9 p.m. And then, we get the message today around 1 p.m. that it was back. And when you open up the app, it basically has a message from TikTok, and it basically is thanking Donald Trump for it being able to come back, working with TikTok for it to come back. And then it also said that this was like an achievement, or this is a success for your First Amendment and like free speech. I believe it said something on there like that, right? And then looking at kind of what Trump has said about this is, Trump was saying that he would give a 90-day extension, but one of the big key factors, and one of the things that kind of worries me, is that Trump mentioned that he wants the U.S. to own 50% of the company through investors. That is worrisome to me. And I also think that it kind of, to me, it just shows that it was never about national security. One can make the argument that it was about money, and that the U.S. just wanted to have a piece of the pie, and that it was never about national security threats and like protecting our data or anything like that. It was just about money. Because even if the U.S. holds 50% of the company, that doesn't mean that China, right, as they accuse to be stealing our data, doesn't still own 50% of it. Right, even though the CEO of TikTok has been saying, that like they did so much just to get the servers over in the U.S. and how it's protected from China anyways. But anyways, I feel like Trump saying that he wants the U.S. government or the U.S. to own 50% of the company, to me, just shows right away that it wasn't ever about national security. The other thing, even if it's not about money, then I do think it was also about the U.S. wanting to be able to control the media. You already have, I believe it was a Congress member. I'd have to double check, but the gentleman that said that that TikTok could be one of the biggest propaganda tools. That to me shows that the U.S. government is afraid of not having control over the app, not necessarily having control over our data, but having control over the algorithm of what it feeds you at the end of the day. So it's too many things. Too many things point towards it being scary for me, and me kind of believing some of, for lack of a better phrase, like some of these conspiracies. You know what I mean? Like when you look at the congressmen and women who have stock in Meta. I mean, how does that not make you think that, it was all about money, and then when you have a congressman who is worried about propaganda, or you have these movements that are so easily spread on TikTok, and now soon to be President Trump knows the power of that spread, the movement spread on TikTok. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it really worries me. And there's a second part to this whole story of TikTok coming back today, and that is whether or not Mark Zuckerberg has anything to do with its return. There is, suspicions that Zuckerberg was able to buy TikTok, or maybe Zuckerberg was able to buy 50%, or at least has some kind of significant chunk. And that all stems from the fact that, now Facebook has a TikTok account. People were seeing, I believe, like Instagram ads on TikTok, and or the other way around, TikTok having ads on Instagram. And I don't know if it's true. I believe that they would have to. I believe that they, when a business sells, they have to disclose it. Maybe, I'm not sure. You have to disclose it for sure to your stakeholders. And if it is sold, but here's the thing: if it is sold, and I made a video about this on my personal TikTok account the day before it went dark, and it was this question of like, do we even want TikTok to be sold to the US? For me personally, and I typically don't give my opinions, especially when it comes to politics. I just don't like to give my opinion on this channel. It's not the type of channel that I'm trying to have. But also, I do really believe that the income disparagement. What's the word? I'm losing the word here, but the inequality of income is really putting the U.S. in a pivotal moment. And so I'm talking about it a little bit, and I'm giving my opinion. I don't want TikTok to be sold to a U.S. company, because this country is not supposed to have monopolies. If Meta does own part of TikTok, or is going to buy part of TikTok, and the government helped facilitate that, how is that not a monopoly? And furthermore, if it does, if the U.S. gets its hands on it, then you're just, again, I think they will be able to control it too much. They will be able to lobby. They'll be able to do what the U.S. does. I don't even know why lobbying is a thing that we allow in this country. If I keep on going along this trail, then I'll just get into stuff that I don't necessarily want to get into right now in this video. But yeah, I think the whole thing, whether it was political theater, that's another thing too. I do just want to mention this. For those who did not or do not support Donald Trump, in the sense of didn't want him as their president, I would really, really hope that people are smart enough, sharp enough to not credit him as the savior of TikTok. And if they do give him any kind of credit, I hope that they do not do it in the sense of, going over to his side. It's worrisome. And I just wanted to come make a video about it. I'm sorry for being so grim. I gotta find something positive to make here soon in the future. Thank you for watching.